Okay, sorry. Now, for real, I'd like to call it order.
Are we on now?
Yeah, Kyle just said yes. The regular meeting of the Seaside School District Monday, December 15th. Let's rise for the allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you and welcome everybody. Agenda review. There's anything for the agenda review? Everybody review the agenda. Thanks. Need a motion.
I would like to make a motion to accept the agenda as shown.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to accept the agenda as shown. Are there any questions?
I just want to clarify, Jason had a piece that he wanted to cover. I just want to make sure that's in here. About the capital.
Yeah, it's in it.
Yeah, they were
Okay,
already.
very good.
Yes, under advisory committee
Okay, perfect.
reports.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Reports. Ella is at a swim meet tonight. But board member, she sent a great little report. If you have time to read that. We wish her luck. Susan.
All right. Last superintendent report of 2025.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, Kyle, if you can bring that up.
Great.
Same as the.
There we go. Okay, I'm always impressed with all the community support we have for our families during the holiday season. This past weekend, Saturday and Sunday, was Shop with a Cop. That is for our middle school students. I was able to attend yesterday. This really is a collaborative effort between all three of our police departments and the sheriff's office. Our morning starts at Pig and Pancake, where Pig and Pancake donates breakfast to our students and our volunteers. And then the students have an opportunity to ride in one of the police cars to Fred Meyer. And Rotary provides $150 gift card so that students can buy gifts for their families. And Fred Meyer provides a 30% discount. It's really a wonderful experience, kind of being a personal shopper for some students and getting to know them better. So thank you so much to both Fred Meyer and our local law enforcement and Rotary for that. This Wednesday, December 17th, is Santa's workshop. This is an effort between Toys for Tots. You've seen the barrels around town where people are putting toys in there. This year we also have some high school Pacifica students that are helping out with that. The convention center, the main room in the convention center, is set up like a big store, and families sign up for a time slot and they get to come and shop at no charge for their children. And so once again, Rotary sets that up. A big shout out to Catherine here in the high school office. We went digital signing up for slots last year, and so that's been really helpful. So families, like I said, sign up for a slot. So that's a lot of excitement building about that. The other thing we do is called Adopt a Family. We work with our counselors at all three schools to identify 10 families who wouldn't really be able to have Christmas presents for their families. And so either a Rotarian or an organization adopts a family, and Rotary provides $500 per family. The district office every year adopts a family, and then we go and we talk to the family and find out what their wants and needs are. And then we go and shop for them. We wrap their gifts, and then on December 18th, I go with some other Rotary members, and we go and deliver their gifts to their homes. So it's really a fun experience. So thank you to our community to providing those special events. Next. Next slide, Kyle. Thank you. Another activity that's been happening that I really appreciate is a monthly virtual meeting called our Clatsop County Community Partners. This was initiated by the 5 superintendents in our county as a way to spend some more time learning about what our community partners do. I've got a list up there of the folks that we've been meeting with. We've been learning a little bit more about what each of these organizations do, how they can partner with us to better serve our families and our students. So that's ongoing. And I've been learning a lot. One of the things we talked about in our meeting today was how we can have some opportunities to share these services out with our families too, kind of in a session. There's really 2 different ways. How do we learn more as a school district to provide services? And then how do we communicate that more out to our families so that we can we make sure everybody has the information they need. So more information about that in the future. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you so much to our staff, students, and families. This year just has been providing more challenges than we have seen in the past. And with uncertainty, with federal budgets, with state budgets, as well as just uncertainty for some of our families with an ICE presence in our community. There's stress, and I just really appreciate the way our community and our staff has been supporting our students. So a big shout out to all the love and support and compassion that our staff has been providing. And so that's my report.
Great. Thank you. Thank you to all the staff members too. Advisory Committee, Strategic and Operational Planning. Jason and Kat's not with us tonight, but Jason, you're up.
I agree. Can you stop that there? Thank you, sir. All right, next slide. So to be clear, this is the concept of a plan. I want to be very clear on that. So nothing in this is final, nothing in this is drafted across, but this is kind of predicated on something we've talked about in this group briefly before. It is something that we've been working on with Kat and Susan in a few different morning sessions to say, look, like we have this tremendous asset in this new school that we've been trusted to take care of. We need to put together a more responsible capital improvement plan for the next 1, 5, 10, 20 years. Should be data driven, should consider all of the different things that go into that to put that together. And we need to start kind of helping build out what those priorities are from the board perspective, and then let Susan and the staff figure out how to enact it. So what I'm proposing ultimately from this is a working document that is public, that is often updated and changed and discussed and argued and reprioritized, but ultimately one that we can go to the public with and say, like, this is our idea, and this is what we're going to continue to work through. So next slide. These are wordy, and it's something that I think that as we build this out, there's a quarterly report to this, and then there's also an annual update to where we go offsite and help build this out. But I think that it deserves a more formal quarterly report out on, hey, here's the updates to it, here's some minor changes. No, everything's on track as we've seen it. And ultimately, something we continue to work through. So next slide. All right, that's an example. All of those projects are from work that's already been done. All of the priorities are made up. All the target years are made up. All of the cost ranges are made up. Funding sources are to be determined. But those are your key drivers, right? What is the project? How important to it? How important is it? When are we going to get it done? What could the price ultimately be? And then where do we go and find the money for it? Those sources, whether it's grants, whether it's the reserve fund, whether that's the foundation for what they're doing right now with the Performing Arts Center, let's be deliberate on that and not just put that back on the community right away to say, you know, fundraising, or we'll try and find this next year, or, oh, sorry, the federal funding didn't come through, so now this is gone. But let's try and put something down and then go and chase down those sourcing funds. Ultimately what it is. And to be very clear, like, this is not a wish list. This is our plan. This is not something that we just roll over and show our belly as soon as it gets hard. This is what we want to go and do. And we should provide the resources and means to do that. All right, next slide. All right, Susan, this is lopsided. So I'm very sorry on this. This we can work through. Okay, so the walk-ins for the meeting, and Shannon, I'm asking to put that on the calendar at some point in January.
Yeah, I have thought about
I
it.
think a 4-hour offsite to kind of work through this. Susan, we need your help in what the right walk-ins are. I put those down to say, you know, like, look, I know we have, what is we talked about the growth in student population over the last few years. What are those funding sources out there? How can we go and find that? And then ultimately, we will help build out like kind of what that prioritization rubric is in a scoring sheet. So I think that that's something that we can kind of work on together to say, like, look, we can strip that off the internet. This isn't the most unique. People have come up with these things before. But I think that there's some really good walk-ins that we'd be relying on you to help kind of build so that we're better prepared for that. And I'll absolutely be working with you on that over the next little bit. For the board members, I've got some things on there too that I think we all need to talk about. And I want everybody to have something when they walk in. We all have kind of that own little wish list, and maybe it's something that we've all talked about before, and somebody can bring it up, or somebody can say that's stupid, whatever that is. So, all right, I think that was the last slide.
It's one more.
Omar. All right, and there's agenda and working session. So TBD. Susan, please forgive me if or Leslie, if there is a deliverable here or proposal to ask Shannon to say like, hey, we're gonna go and meet next month. But I think a 4-hour in the afternoon should be more than enough to put something like this together, at least a version 1.0, and I'll make sure we walk in with a workable product.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
With these priorities that you're looking at, how will you get input from staff or
Great point.
community or things like that to make those?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing to work on.
Workshop question.
Yeah. Workshop question.
Yeah, anything that we, like Sue said, last meeting, 20 January is when you start looking at if within the budget, you've got to carve out that space or whatever is the priority.
Yeah.
And then I would also say that this gets pushed aside, the maintenance of this beautiful $100 million building. And so we set aside a very small percentage. In banking, if you have $1 million building, you're supposed to set aside 50,000 a year or 40, 3-4% of value. We're at 75,000 on 100 million.
Yeah.
That's not enough probably. So because roofs will go, and when it goes, it's going to be more than 75 or whatever.
Yeah.
So those needs, we have stuff that's that's what reserves are for. So if we're looking at those for capital stuff,
Right.
Again, it's a great project, and you're right. I totally agree. It has to be part of an overall plan rather than, oh crap, we got a problem. And bond financing is a really lengthy process. So it's a very good. I mean, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
So one question, you're talking about doing this every quarter, work on this sheet, is that what you're thinking?
I think we need to talk about it as a board every quarter. Again, it's very, we don't have to talk about the things that are 2 or 3 or 4 years out every quarter, but we should, if they have a long lead time on funding, we obviously need to put something together. I think that, capital improvement plan is optimistic and fun. capital sustainment plan of just making sure that we sustain it. To your point, those big expenditures need to be on this too, even if it's the boring stuff like roof. Whatever those right assets are, however we depreciate this asset, like I don't know. I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
I
maintenance
just wanna
versus
help,
improvement.
right? I just wanna help make sure that we've got it on the roadmap so we all know like, hey, this is not the year to do this project because we have to do something boring. But we are gonna do that next year or the year after.
A brand new facility like this is great. There's no deferred maintenance because it's brand new, but like in 5 years or
Sure.
whatever. Right.
And I have picked out a couple of dates in mind. I'll send out an email to see what works
Okay.
best for people. Does a daytime work for people?
I will
Totally depends on the day.
Weekend, daytime.
That's more open for me too. Yeah, actually.
Okay, I will send out some options for both.
Great.
Okay.
Jason, thanks for taking the
Thank you,
time
Judy.
to put this down.
Yeah, great job.
I love PowerPoint. It's
Very
not my
good.
best work.
That's great. Okay, any other questions for Jason? Thank you. Tony,
Hello, everyone. We did get, the bulk of our money in November. We're still waiting for, 39.73% of our general fund revenue as of November 30th. As opposed to last year where we were waiting for 38.89. So we're really close, about, $300,000, shy. The bad news, though, is the next biennium PERS employer contribution rates have been released. SB 849, PERS employer relief rate of, where they deducted 1.68 percentage points will sunset in June. The next biennium, our OPSERP PERS rates are going up 9.23 percentage points, which equates to an increase of 53.1% of our PERS. Tier 1, tier 2 are going up 8.76 percentage points, which equates to an increase of 42.6%. Our current budget for PERS is 4 million, so we're looking at an increase about $2 million above that. Yeah, it's a lot.
Annually?
It's a lot.
Are you?
Annually.
2 million annually. Well,
Annually.
there's your capital budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great. But
Wow.
we have no control over it and that's what it is. So, Susan and I are gonna start budgeting this month. So, and we've got some assumptions and this was part of it.
Don't we have a loan in the books for a PERS loan we took out to fund some deficiencies years ago and we're still.
20
paying on
years,
that?
20 years ago,
PERS insurance is what.
yes, it was a PERS bond and we were in a pool with other districts and.
We're still servicing that.
Yes, we are.
And how many more years do we have on that?
1 more year.
1 more year. So
Yeah, it's
and
not
what's the
very
debt
long.
service on that.
I
That's
can look
good
it up.
news.
It's,
Would it be near 2 million?
so that's complicated and I can sit down with you and tell you all about it, but it's a lengthy discussion about site accounts and what's going away and how they're depleting and it's a lengthy discussion, so.
Cash flow issues. Yeah.
So, and fiscal office will be closed over winter break, but I will be working most of the days, so if you need anything, just holler.
So, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
so
go
a
ahead.
$2 million additional obligation for which year?
For next year,
For
for
next year.
the next year,
Okay.
the next
That
biennium.
was.
The next.
School
okay,
year.
to a-
That's 2
That's-
million more than we're currently paying. Is that what?
Yeah.
Make sure I'm
So
correct.
$4 million.
So we're budgeted $4 million this year. It'll be about $6 million next year.
Okay,
About,
got it.
yeah.
Okay. Where are we? So we're through a third of the year. On the reserve, the additional 3 million that we set aside in reserve, right?
Yes, it's still
Okay,
there.
and that is still pending, all of those line items still unknown on federal funding for this year.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And then there's still an additional, I'm just trying to get my head around,
Oh,
are there
sure.
any shortcomings in current funding to date from last month?
So
Are we short anywhere?
not currently.
Are we surplus, extra,
No, we're about on target.
about on target?
About on target. I really wish that 300,000 would have come in, but it didn't, but it's it's,
That's why.
Is out there, it's coming in, it's just a cash flow thing,
it's
right?
a cash.
So we
it's
had a,
cash
we
flow.
took out a loan to solve the cash flow, that,
Yes.
between nets and then the cash flow, two things, I think. So,
Yes.
so I think what Jay said, I mean, income, we know kind of the buckets, they're pretty easy to project, so we're
Yes.
on track.
We're on track for the revenue and
Expenses, we are basically on track.
basically on track,
Okay.
yeah.
And then
So
this
hopefully
next year, we got a $2 million bogey on PERS alone.
Just
With,
first.
with then contract increases and PERS, it's gonna be a tough budget year, I think.
It will
That's
be,
just saying,
yeah, it will be. That's why we're starting in December.
yeah.
Jason, in answer to your question, the biggest one that I'm interested to see after the first of the year is if the government is still going to be funding our free breakfast and lunch. We used to get those reimbursements quarterly, and now it's down to monthly. And we could find out as quickly as only 1 week's notice if that ends.
Mhm.
And how much is that a year?
It's about $1 million. Rough,
Federal, not state?
that's good.
So if this were to happen, Susan, what would be the plan? Do we have
That
reserve this year?
3 million we put
We
aside.
fund it this year,
We
then
would use
put it
that.
back in the 26 budget, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Just so we're all clear, we're still doing that no matter what.
Yeah,
No matter
yeah,
what.
that's where that
It's still
reserve
free.
will be drawn down.
It's essential for our students to have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
I know it's,
yeah, you don't need to get it too deep here, because I'm just kind of thinking through it, so.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot to
Yeah.
take in.
If you guys have any questions, you can email me or I
Thanks,
can
Joe.
do a presentation on the first site accounts or whatever you guys need.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, school administrator reports. Jeff, you want to go first? Oh, sorry, Debbie.
You just
Go, Jeff.
Yeah, so we only have to do one per building.
Yeah,
Yeah. okay.
great.
Great, but you're,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, I-
high school, middle school.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. No, brief. So fall term finished up last week. Had a successful fall term. One of the things we've talked about ad nauseum is freshmen on track, and the critical aspect of that, ensuring students meet graduation requirements after 4 years. After evaluation of that, working with our on-track coach and Wendy and our freshman counselors have started recognized a handful of students that maybe needed a little bit of more support in the morning. So it started with handpicking some students to support through an additional class that they'll begin this fall term, small class, 10, 12, talking about organizational skills, kind of get them off on the right foot every day. And so it's a new mission that we're gonna try to 12 students in a class, right? That's could be 15% of our students in that particular class. And so when we look at graduation rates, right, probably it's a significant amount. So taking some steps to support our students in that capacity. Kicking off, when Ella's not here, it's really challenging. I mean, it's honest, she makes my job a lot easier than the work that she's done up to this point. So kicking off Winter Week, Holiday Classic is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I want to take a second to recognize our athletic department, primarily Carrie Boughton and Chad Klaus. Those two have done such a remarkable job of really trying to encourage more and more students to be engaged. I mean, that is our primary, and I shouldn't say our primary, I mean, our number one participating in extracurriculars is our athletic program. And Chad has done such a great job at not only the high school, but the middle school job of really encouraging folks, and started off this fall this winter with a really cool concept. He is teaching a sports media class to try to engage and promote and do those things. And it's been a really neat venture. He is learning very much along the way. And the hope is to ultimately have those students broadcasting games and set foot into that arena as a possible career for themselves. So not only has he driven that, I think it's also important that he spearheaded and really ensured that we had success in our inaugural women's middle school wrestling program. I believe we had 11 or 12 young women participate in that in the middle school this year, with full anticipation that we'll have a high school women's wrestling program next year. I mean, it's one of the fastest growing sports for women in the United States, and he is really done a fantastic job of spearheading those two things. So wanted to mention that students are anxious to be done. I think there is students primarily. Students primarily. I know everybody is looking forward to having a couple weeks off to recharge batteries and kind of hit the ground running. We were blessed with the incredible weather this weekend, and then reality set in. But appreciate everybody here. Appreciate your time.
Jeff, real quick, women or girls flag football, that was.
We have tried that, and it was really met with great success in the first couple of years as a emerging sport. One of the challenges that we foresee and we've run into is, we have X amount of kids that can participate in other things, and so when we are up against it with a student body the size of ours, making kids choose, it becomes difficult. And so we ran it. I mean, I guess for the first couple of years, we ran it really kind of like an intramural sport.
Right.
And we had success with that. Whether or not we decide to keep doing that, I think would be really challenging to remain competitive in that, and how we're going to make a decision. Do we want to continue to financially invest in that as well? And so I do anticipate doing it this year, but we have to reevaluate, similar to the OSAA acknowledging or making boys volleyball, right, a sanctioned sport. It is. It's really challenging. I would tell you across the board, there are going to be very few 4A schools that do it. I think what you will see is an abundance of 3A and 2A private schools doing that, and then along with some of the 6 and 5A schools. I mean, those are great opportunities for students. But we also have to have enough folks to participate in those. We also have to be cognizant of the expense that those things.
It's going to take the budget. Around the corner.
I mean, those are real things, right? I mean, it's not just volleyballs and nets. It's transportation. It's coaching. It's a budget for additional equipment. It's uniforms. I mean, it's just a reality.
Yeah, I attended one of those a couple of years ago. Kaylee Snyder was on that football team, and I would just really. I thought it was a bunch. I think it was just a one game or one weekend event, but it was really kind of cool to see.
And it's been awesome. I mean, it really has been a really great thing. I would say we have seen some challenges with participation from year one. Coaches, I think initially our spring coaches saw a lot of excitement in that, and allowed our young women to participate maybe in softball and then then there's an impact. How does that affect your program too? If students are being pulled in multiple directions, and it's a reality of the size. And so speaking of size, just so everybody's aware today, the OSAA today did finish their redistricting decision. We will remain in 4A for the time being, at least for the next 4 years. The only difference I think we will see is that St. Helens is going to move out of our league, and then we're inviting Banks and Valley Catholic back.
Okay, so back to the old days.
Yep.
Was it close?
No.
Okay, we're not like on the edge of a.
Well, we moved farther away from the bottom by about 2 schools, and so I mean we were, it's a really tricky thing at 4A level to, and being the size that we are, we stay in the Guapa League, and we have really good relationships with a lot of those schools, and there's a lot of camaraderie and professional working relationships. If we were to be in a category that moved down, now we are pitted against a huge amount of private schools that have, frankly, an inherent advantage, and most of those are located in the metro area, where a lot of the kids are playing club sports year round, and so I think we're in the right place. I mean, I think we're in the right place for continued success in our programming. So
Great.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Jen.
Here she comes, Busy.
We decided to put a little picture so you can see what we're talking about. So it's really quick too. So a couple things that our 5th graders are doing is they get to go to Camp Rylea, and that is where they are at the Starbase Camp, and they are doing some STEAM and they're launching rockets and exploring designs, and they have like a 3D printer, all of that cool engineering stuff. And then we just wanted to let you know how the Vision Van went. It was a great success. We had 41 children come, and 30 were our students from Seaside. 32 of the children received a prescription and glasses with no cost, and 36 received a referral or a recommendation for an eye exam. So great success for that. And then we also had a canned food drive, and it was really, really fun. So one snowman up there is representing the K2 grade levels, and then the other one is representing the 3-5, and each side has a table. And so if you're a third grader, you put your item on your third grade side. If you're a second grader, you put it on the second grade. And it was a friendly competition, and 3 through 5th won, so they'll be getting extra recess with Pip and friends. And we collected 966 items.
Wow.
So those items will be going to the food banks in Seaside and Gearhart and Cannon Beach. So really cool for that. And then tomorrow we will be having our 4th and 5th grade music concert. So those 4th graders in that picture are practicing, and they're very, very dedicated. They're excited for tomorrow's show. So if you are around, you can come see them perform tomorrow night. And just a quick shout out to our teachers who it's a lot of work right now, you know, and they're hyped for our break. But they're also doing the you don't have to shut up, but we're doing a social studies curriculum. So even though we have a million things to do, they're signing up and making sure that they are, you know, giving their time and their expertise to pick something meaningful for our kids.
For the adoption.
For the adoption.
Social studies adoption.
Yeah, for social studies, that's coming.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to
Oh,
you.
Hate it.
Almost. I guess, oh,
I'll just really briefly, this is our social studies adoption year, and as Desi just said, we have teachers on board for both our primary building, or our elementary building, and our intermediate building. We had an excellent session the other day where the 6th through 12th grade teachers all vertically aligned the new social studies standards that were adopted in 2024. We have partnered with Astoria School District to hold a live caravan of materials where teachers from our district, and then we invited Warrenton, Jewel, Napa, Clatskanie, Neocani, to look at materials from the reps as opposed to just relying on the videos that ODE has provided. So you'll hear more from me about the social studies adoption as we move into trimester 2.
thank you. Thanks, Kate. You gave her, all right, Cannon Beach Academy, Mary Ellen.
Right. We had the annual Cannon Beach lamp lighting a few Saturdays ago, and when I sent the report out to you, I didn't have pictures of the event, but I had picture of the students practicing for that. So
They were adorable.
they were.
Really
I
cute.
agree. It's my favorite
too.
thing that the kids get to participate in. And so we had all but 3 of our kiddos there singing. So, and then 2 of our 5th graders lit the lamp, and Phil Vincent, our board president, was the one who got to help light the lamp this year. So that was very cool. And our running club just got a very generous donation from Cannon Beach Fitness for brand new running shoes. This is the 3rd year the kids have had shoes provided, and so it's great because we can keep them there at school, and then they have the shoes that they need to run every week, and then they take them home at the end of the year. And we always participate in 2 5K runs, one in Astoria on the river, and then the Cannon Beach sandcastle run by Pay Run. So we're looking forward to that and have, actually, we have brand new shirts that were dropped off today. One of the, our parents of the school, has a screen printing business and he tie-dyed some really cool shirts. So I'll have pictures maybe next month of our fun shirts. Our PTO had a fundraiser of, wreath and garland and poinsettias, and a lot of local, businesses in Cannon Beach purchased from us, and that was wonderful. So we were able to raise some money that they're hoping to help with our after school clubs and our PE supplies and some field trips. So it was very successful and it was a lot of fun. And we're hoping that the weather will hold out for the remainder of the week so we can go into our break strong. But yeah, it's been a little wild. And we have learned to be very flexible. Today was a 2-hour delay and the power came back just in time. So yeah, so a little crazy, but we're excited about finishing up just before break. So
Awesome. All right, thank you. All right, unions. Brett, you going first?
Howdy ho, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. Trying to be more organized.
There you go.
Ooh, fancy.
Impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So SE is trying really hard this year to make sure all members' voices are being represented, because I know it's kind of a thing where like, how many people said this? And so it's kind of hard because we're like down the hill and up the hill. And so we've been really trying to coordinate our efforts. And so we're having standing meetings now, after our contract hours once a month, after we do all this, the board meeting and everything, just to keep them up on current events. And then we open up for a floor discussion to see if there's any concerns that teachers have. So it's, as the people who run the meetings, our job is to kind of take that information and see, is there a trend? So I talk with Jane, and I talk with Becky and with Chad, and we see what's going on. And so a couple of things, some good things, since I last reported, and I was talking about how the district needs to make sure that they take care of the social emotional well-being of teachers along with their students. Superintendent Penrod has been meeting with building principals to come up with a plan for when a teacher needs to take a break from their classroom. And so there'll be written protocol for that, which is awesome. And that way, teachers feel like they can ask for that without feeling like there's a evaluation piece to it or disciplinary measures attached to that. It just really highlights that, yeah, teachers need that social emotional things just like students do. So, and so, yeah, hopefully within, you said like a week, we'll have that start rolling out. We'll start training staff on how to do that in January.
Sure do it. So, just so clear, so one, that's great to hear, so thanks for that. So just to recap what you said, you take what we talked about at the board meeting, you go back to a group of how many of the teacher reps, how big is that group?
Leadership team, there's about 11 of us.
So 11 different folks, and then what is that feedback loop from you, from that meeting back up to Susan and the staff? Is there a kind of a, hey, board talked about this, we met, we had this issue, we kind of like wanted further questions on this and this. Is there a kind of like complete that circle? Are you guys doing that as well, or is that kind of ending there?
No, we are, yeah. The president and president-elect meet with the superintendent once a month, and that's the time where we talk about these things. It is kind of a delayed thing just because board meeting happens, our leadership team meets, and then in a couple of weeks, we then meet with the superintendent. But if there is any like big issues, we feel comfortable emailing the superintendent or emailing our principals and talking to them with these kind of things. And I feel like the communication is open more so than it has been in previous years. So I'm really happy with that. Transparency is the big thing, right? Because as soon as people start speculating, that's when gossip and rumors spread. And I do not like that as a person's on leadership team. So yeah, there is a way to get back. It's full circle. It takes some time, obviously. And it's really hard for our leadership team to meet once a month sometimes because we're teachers and we're super busy after our contract hours with sports or whatnot. But we definitely take the time to do that. So yeah, good question. Also, since I last reported, let's see. I talked about how we want to make sure that we are very careful about our PD in terms of time to plan, because we're getting this great information on these awesome strategies from Marzano, whatnot, but we want to make sure that we're always cognizant of the fact that we are human beings and we have to process that information, and then we have to make it our own personal instruction. Because we are chefs in our classroom, we aren't just reading a book and then regurgitating what's in the curriculum. We have to make sure that we can internalize it and make sure that we're good on it. And so just recently at at Pacific Ridge, the last PD that we had, we were given, a brief like, hey, this is what we're doing today. Go on your teams and work on this. And that was awesome. So I hope that continues, because that's just how teachers function. I know for me, it's like, once I get an idea in my head, it's like, now I want to go in my room and like really think about it. I don't want to sit here for 45 minutes, right? And talk about it, kind of thing. And so I think admin's aware of that and aware that that's actually really beneficial, and it's going to lead to more success for students.
Now, that's, again, that's the group effort of that, you said you, but is that the feeling of the whole group? I mean, there's always a challenge, like, should I have a 1 hour meeting or should I do 15 minutes so they get back and do their thing?
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
it is a tough one, but it is the whole group, and it is, I work with my team, and so grade level teams work together. So, and the more opportunities we have for that, that's true PLC, right? Like, we always want to talk about how we want to do PLCs, professional learning communities. But if you don't allow a more relaxed schedule for teachers to just kind of be in the same space together and shoot ideas off each other, as opposed to, all right, we have to fill out this form, we have to hit these bullet points, that's really what it's all about. And that's really where the magic happens, is when teachers are just together in the same room talking about good instruction. Let's see. Okay, so with the last 10 meetings, there has been a consensus. So one of the main concerns of the union is member safety and mental well-being in the workplace. And with that, we've been getting an increase in members reporting of student physical aggression towards staff, students swatting, clawing, pushing, and yelling at staff, repeatedly telling teachers no. And these behaviors might seem minor, and yes, they come with the territory of working with students with social emotional needs. But the union is very concerned about the rise in frequency, and I don't think our school is the only one, or our district is the only one that's experiencing this. It's happening across the country for sure. But it's really important for us that we work cooperatively with the district on this, and that we really come up with ways in which we can maintain a balance between meeting the social emotional needs of students and sustaining order in our schools. And I think that's a really big thing that teachers are having anxiety around, because we do want to meet the needs of our students. We do understand that SEL is super important, but we don't want to lose control. And we don't mean control like, listen to me now, do as I say. We just want school to function like it should function. And we're feeling as teachers that at times it's slowly breaking down. And so we want to make sure that as a district that we're doing our best to do both, to meet the needs of our students and have order in our buildings.
What are some ideas that you might have in mind?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know. It's really, we are very much understanding. We understand where students are coming from, and we understand that they come with trauma, and we understand why the way they're acting, right? It's never like, this kid is terrible, I can't believe they're acting this way. It's very much like, I understand why they're acting this way. And so it's that balance of understanding versus making sure that we still have clear black and white rules at school. And that's not a thing that I can answer right now, because it is a big challenge. And that's why I hope that we work together on this. We cooperatively work together on this.
How many classrooms have aides?
Well, preschool and kinder have full-time aides, and then the majority of our instructional assistants are for special education classrooms, and then we also have instructional assistants that are kind of spread through the elementary, specifically for reading groups and such, so.
Yeah.
Are we able to move those? So if there are classrooms that have had, again, kind of pulling the same thread, right? Is there staff currently on hand that we can move between different classrooms on a more permanent basis, or are those already deployed? Is that already being done? I mean, what would that look like?
I can share the schedule with you, and then I can also have Jenny come and talk about that, how she schedules.
Okay.
Yeah. We got our topic for our next meeting.
Oh, right.
Very good.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Megan.
I'm gonna do my best to get through this. I will, if I get emotional, please understand that it's, really because, I'm hurt. And it is affecting, the things that are going on right now with classified staff, is affecting the morale in these buildings. And so, I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna speak to the importance of, prioritizing safety in our schools for the staff as well as the students. We, as you know, have been bargaining for a new contract, and one of our last sticking points is safety measures. Staff safety means more, than, it used to nowadays. And every day, Seaside School employees face injuries from scratches to bruises to concussions and sometimes worse. Since the last school board meeting, there have been more than 7 instances in just this building of a staff person being targeted. And some of those have resulted in injuries, and yes, they've been reported. Dealing with these threats day after day gets in the way of us doing our jobs. Some staff don't feel able to take breaks because that means stepping out of an already minimally staffed classroom, leaving the rest of the team and the students at risk. Some of the staff do not feel comfortable reporting safety incidents for fear of the students getting in trouble or for them being in trouble for not avoiding the situation. It breaks my heart that the district has so far refused to engage on this issue in a meaningful way, and I know that many others in this room feel the same way. Everyone deserves a safe workplace, but safety is even more important in a school. Our working conditions are our students' learning conditions. Students are feeling the impacts of this issue in many ways. Disrupted lessons, less individual time than they need or deserve, and saying goodbye to beloved staff who leave the district for jobs where they're not subjected to being hit, kicked, scratched, yelled at, cussed at, or have threats of harm made against them. OSCA members have submitted several reasonable solutions-focused proposals to the district to address our safety concerns. We need the ability to discuss safety solutions with our supervisor, the training, the equipment, and functioning safety committees. Simply put, this is what we need to be able to show up for our students every day to help them learn and thrive. I urge Seaside School District come work with OSEA to improve the contract in a way that makes progress to improve working condition and ensures Seaside schools are safe places for everyone.
Do we have like so we've heard it from Mr. Dewar and now and then classified staff as well. Do we have, I'm sure that these incidents are reported out, like captured, discussed, reported out. Data, it's logged, it's tracked, we could show trend lines, we could show all of that. Can we take a look at that at the next meeting, or at least share that out at the next meeting? And then I would be curious if there is a trend as it's moving up. I would be curious.
Happy to share that.
Yeah, like what that is. And then I think, what the piece here is, we're talking about both the teacher safety, mental health, like all of those different pieces. So I think it's fair to continue that conversation with the classified and non-classified staff, so we can see that and understand it, and then kind of put together what those action items are, because I know you have been working on it. To show what those are, and then hopefully start seeing some metrics going the other direction.
I'm happy to
Should
share.
I add that if, like a month is a long time away, like, is there any way to see that ahead?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And is that, so 7 in the past month? Is that higher or lower, about the same as the previous month or the previous months, I guess? So if it happens 7 times in 9 months, it would be 63 times. I'm just trying to figure out, is that higher or lower? Is it getting worse or better or the same?
From just, in this particular month, it was a little higher than expected from a particular student that was involved. But I would say that's probably at best an average Um,
And then same question as Mr. Dewar's, ideas you might have. Is it just get this person separated because he's causing, or he or she is causing issues?
I want to caution to not say
Oh.
information that would identify a student.
Okay, just any ideas to deal with the issues that we're talking about with safety? They can share with us, because this kind of something I'm kind of gonna learn quickly as to what's going on.
yeah, so I mean, obviously there's no ideal solution because every situation is its own situation, but some teachers, so like for in a sped classroom, the teachers will take precautionary measures if a certain staff person is causing some triggering behavior, then that teacher will sometimes remove that staff person for a time being and put them with another student so that that trigger is removed, and then
There's some
that helps.
processes you.
Mhm, yeah. That doesn't always work.
Right,
But
this is a difficult part, to put it on paper, it's gonna but you can't capture every potential scenario, so you just gotta have a general, so I'll look forward to kind of digging into this too.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tag report, Kate, you're back.
There. It's me.
Hey, yay.
Hi, Cactus. So next slide, please. So, the Oregon, Department of Education requires every year that we update our district tag plan. We actually have a district tag plan. I don't know if you guys know that or not. And so not only do we update it every year, but, we're required to present it to the board and post it onto our website. So the updated plan is right now on the website, and I'm just gonna walk through a couple of parts of it. So the reason that we actually identify tag students is not for the kind of status of being called tag. We identify to serve. And when I say that we identify to serve, I mean that the point of identifying a tag student is to be able to provide, to be able to know that they need a different kind of an education than their peers in order for them to make a year's worth of growth in any school year. That's really the reason why we identify them. And it's the same reason that we identify students that need supplemental support in order to make a year's worth of growth in any school year. So the definition of a tag student is somebody who requires special education programs or services, or both, beyond those normally provided by the regular school program in order to realize their contribution to self and society. Just so you know, we have board policies on tag. Those are found obviously in your part of the school website that says school board and then policies. And I will let you read those on your own. So this will probably be the lengthiest part of my discussion. There are a couple of different ways that we identify students who we consider talented and gifted. Probably most common is a teacher referral, but we can also receive parent referrals, and very rarely, but legally, a student can self-refer. Anytime that we receive a referral, we go through a process of then going through CUME files and looking at academic records in terms of like classwork, but also test scores as well. Another way that I would say that classroom artifacts kind of falls under the area of teacher referral. When a student is consistently producing classwork that is above grade level or maybe above what their peers are producing, that would probably end up being a teacher referral. So classroom artifacts,
Let me skip down to assessment data and go back to intelligence screening. The other way that we kind of look holistically at who we might identify are through our universal screener and state test scores. So it used to be that we would consider anybody in the 97th percentile eligible for tag. We've since changed our cut scores because ideally what a district wants, the sweet spot for tag identification is like 4 to 8% of your student body for the whole district is identified as tag. And so really when we're looking at local metrics, probably that cut score, it would be more realistic to look at our top 10% of kids or those scoring in the 90th percentile. We look at STAR data, that's our universal screener. We look at our state scores. We also look at any kind of local assessments in terms of like iReady or iExcel or Achieve 3000. These are all sort of smaller assessment tools that the schools are using. And then intelligence screening. All schools in the state of Oregon do this, but once a year we do a flat screen. We used to do it strictly just at 3rd grade, and we've dropped down now to 2nd grade to capture a younger body of students. But those intelligence screenings are nonverbal. They have a lot to do with patterns and identifying patterns. And so we've kind of switched this year to a test that's produced by Pearson, and it's online and it's scored immediately and whatever. But it is a nonverbal test of patterns and pattern making. Once a student is identified, then we kind of go through a process of, notifying the parents and then building a PEP or a personal education plan. And you may have heard a lot of talk about IEPs, individualized education plan. A PEP is very much like an IEP. It is a plan that is written for the student that targets their level and rate of learning. It tells the teacher that this student is gifted. And by the way, the areas that we identify students are in general intellectual ability, academic ability, and academic ability is either reading or math. Creative ability, leadership ability, and visual or performing art ability. So the teacher, through the PEP plan, is able to see how and what the student is identified for, and then make accommodations for that. And so then after a PEP plan is written, then we move into the instruction. Thanks, Kyle. And in K5, not only first of all, let me say this. At K5, you all know about our WIN program that we're quite pleased with. The kids that are primarily identified as TAG, but then also the rest of sort of that top tier of reading ability, we just recently purchased a curriculum called Junior Great Books. I don't know if any, I was gonna say, you probably remember Junior Great Books. But so it's basically like reading classics and learning about kind of more advanced vocabulary and more advanced themes, et cetera, et cetera. Also, their math program, not only do they focus a lot on mathematical vocabulary, but then the students are able to work independently at their own rate and level of learning on a computer. Also at the K5, they have enrichment classes. They have a STEAM class that Desi teaches. And then once or twice a year, they also have Sitka Art, which is kind of also an enrichment program at the elementary. And then they do a field trip, like a real world kind of adventure field trip. At the high school, the way that we serve our tag kids, we don't have IB and we don't have AP, and we've had those long discussions. But what we do offer are our dual enrollment classes through Clatsop County Community College, and our CTE classes. We do have some students who take IP classes or AP classes independently. And so I was just talking to the high school counselor today about how they're constantly identifying the needs of those students and trying to meet them. And that this year she's got even more 10th graders that are coming to her and asking for accelerated classes. So that's kind of how we meet the needs of our tag kids at the secondary school. Another aspect of our tag plan is that we need to have a component in that plan that talks about our continuous improvement. We updated our plan this year, and all of the goals that had been previously in that plan had sunsetted. So we kind of rewrote those goals to just kind of, I would say that our biggest goal this year is that we need to follow through on getting a full staff miniature PD. Don't worry, it's not gonna be a long PD. I promise you guys, just a 1 hour PD on the importance of tag, why we identify. Again, that's to serve. And then secondly, how we identify. So that's a goal of ours that we haven't yet followed through with, but we will do that this year. Another goal of ours, which goes along with our equity committee, the district-wide equity committee, is to make sure that we have that we are identifying students in a proportional manner. Right now, I would say that we have a little bit of disproportionality in the students that we have identified, so that's a big goal that we'll be working on.
Is this completely subjective? You said it really rely, I would love to see one where it just takes that subjectivity more out of it and some sort of system that you could say, hey, look, this is how it's built, so this is how it is.
Yeah.
Versus we feel this way or we think this way.
Well, yeah, so that's why we
Yeah.
do the testing.
Okay.
And that's why we say that the cut score is at the 90th percentile.
Okay.
So if a teacher says, for example, if we get a student who comes into the district who hasn't been there for our universal screening at 3rd grade or 2nd grade, like say they're a 5th grader, and the teacher's like, wow, this kid's so cool. Well, we're gonna look at, what's cool about them, what's their schoolwork look like, what was their STAR test score. If it looks good, then I'm gonna say to Desi, who's the building coordinator at the elementary school, please test this for the NNAT 3. And we will do that. And so that's a very good question. It is, in all things, in all areas, Kevin, we are trying to take the subjectivity out of it.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
In
It really needs to.
areas, not just tag, but in all of the areas that we're scoring students.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear it because it takes away that argument, I suppose, that, my kid is or isn't or whatever. It's just, yeah.
And looking at data, which we as a leadership team have really been doing this year, we're identifying pockets of, areas that we need to improve. And one of those areas in the context of tag is that we need to improve our proportionality here.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see, what else? District level tag team. I am the district tag coordinator. Lacey Ledbetter is our district, next slide, our district school psychologist who helps with testing, etc. Susanna Fry is our district support specialist, and she helps a lot at the district level. At Pacific Ridge, our building coordinator is Desiree Grates, who's helped very much by Ashley Verholst, and Ashley is amazing. Thank you, Ashley. At the secondary school, Wendy Crozier is our building tag coordinator, helped tremendously by Ethan Guzman. and Renee Meyer. Questions?
Once a kid's identified as tagged, do they, is there a reassessment occasionally, or do they always, once tagged, always tagged?
Not a reassessment, but the PET plan is re-evaluated every year and updated every year, just like an IUP is.
And this is like for all students. Is there, and I don't know this, that's why I'm asking, but is there a sense where this person has really excelled under this particular teacher? Or this kid really fell off? He was always tagged before, but now I mean, is there any assessment to kind of saying the output of the teachers and their involvement with the student versus the student's advancement and performance? I don't know if there's any.
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Just leave it at that.
Thank you, Kate. That's all I have. That's all. No more questions.
Thank you.
I just have a quick thing to say. It sounds like the theme of a lot of the unions is staff safety. And I just do want to let you all know that we do hear you. And actually, one specific thing, last board meeting, there were some concerns expressed about alleged sexual abuse by students against instructional assistants, especially in classrooms serving with students with special needs. There has been investigations conducted. We went back and looked at, Susan and Jenny looked back at reports, any report made by a teacher or an instructional assistant, and they conducted investigations and they took this very seriously. So our policies and our rules require, we hope that staff report these issues. If they're not reported and just heard about, there's nothing we can do. So they need to be reported. And I know that Susan is going to talk with her leadership team about reminding staff to please report any issues, any and all issues, so that we can kind of come up with a plan. What is the trends? And we do take it seriously. So I just wanted to make that statement that we're listening and we take our staff, all staff members' safety seriously. Okay, public comment. I get to read this. The meeting will now be open to receive public comments. We value the time and initiative members of the public take to share their thoughts with the board. The board's role during public comment is not to immediately respond, but to listen. If follow-up is necessary, we will direct our superintendent to do so. Remember that we are all role models for our students. Please share your thoughts respectfully. Should any public comment include complaints regarding a personally identifiable staff member, the board chair will direct the speaker to proper administrative process found in board policy KL public complaints. Speakers will have 3 minutes to express their thoughts. Any public comment tonight? Kyle, do we have anybody in the chat?
Nobody has commented yet.
Nobody has commented. I'm using my teacher wait time. Okay, then we will move along. Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Action items. We've got budget committee appointments. So it looks like, did everyone get a chance to look at the so we can make it looks like 2 of our top 4 candidates.
Yeah, so the attached document is, last month, the board, took action to use the ranking form. And, what you see here in the attached document is the ranking form, by all the board members and the the top two candidates.
So if anyone feels comfortable, we can make a motion to nominate the top two candidates. Appoint, excuse me.
I move to appoint Catherine Lacaze, right, I hope, and Alex Carney to the 2 open budget committee positions.
I second.
Right, a motion has been made and seconded to appoint Alex Carney and Catherine Lacaze to the open budget committee positions. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
I'm
I'm
not,
not, I don't.
I have to.
Sorry.
Motion carried. Okay, congratulations to Alex and Catherine, and we will be reaching out to both of them. Great. Next one is a gift approval from the Hirsch family, Thomas Hirsch. Do you have information on that?
Yeah, so this is, the Hirsch family are very generous, donators to our district, and this particular donation is for, $2,500 for athletics, $3,500 for disc golf, um, 4125 for football, 225342. Wow, very specific for baseball uniforms. For a total gift donation of $12,378.42.
That's very generous. We just need to,
I move to approve the gift from Thomas Hirsch in the amount of $12,378.42.
I'll second that.
all right, a motion has been made and seconded to accept the gift approval, to approve the gift from Thomas Hirsch for $12,378.42. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, board reflections and announcements. I don't have anything for this book discussion today. I think we can scrap that one for today. That's it. Is there anything else to come for the board? Okay, if not, happy holidays to everyone if we don't see you, and this meeting is adjourned.
Yes.
Next to you.